Today we're on page 75 in our notebook. We're going to be talking about writing inequalities. So last week we did writing equations, and this week we want to put those inequality signs in there. Go ahead and pause your video so that you can set up your notebook till it looks just like mine. This is your warm-up. It says solve the following inequality and graph it. So this is a two-step inequality, so there are a couple ways that I can do this. The very first way I can do this is to do my do and undo boxes. Or I can do my flow chart. Or I can just solve it without using any of those. So go ahead and pause your video so that you can do your warm-up and I will come around to check it. Your learning goals is create a one variable two-step inequality from a real-world problem. Your language goals is apply the use of inequalities to real-world situations. This is your inequality keywords. So anytime you see these words, it'll tell you which sign that you need to use in your inequality. So what I want you to do is take this paper and I want you to glue it underneath where it says keywords. I'm going to refer back to it later on. Example A says the theater club is selling tickets for the school play. They need to earn at least $500 in ticket sales to cover the cost of the production. If tickets are sold for $4 each, at least how many tickets need to be sold? So I need to take my highlighter so I can highlight the important information. The words at least and 500 are really important. And $4 each are also important. And then I always underline my question. So now all I have to do is fill this in. The very first thing I know is that my input is always my variable. So in my instance, I'm going to put an X. You can use any letter, but I like to use X. My total is 500. So that goes in my total box. Remember that your total is your biggest number. And then $4 each. Anytime I see that word each, that tells me that it goes in my rate. And if I wasn't sure, it's right here underneath where it says rate. So I've already used 500, I've already used 4. I don't have any other additional information, so I can put a 0 here. So now I look at the words each, or at least. I look at the words at least right here. At least tells me that that's the minimum that I can earn. I can earn more than that, but I need to at least, so I need an equal sign, I need to at least earn 500. So I can earn more, so I have a greater than or equal to sign. But now we have to solve it. So I have 4x plus 0 is greater than or equal to 500. Okay, well the first thing I need to do is subtract 0, but if I subtract 0, I'm left with the same thing. So I bring down 4x is greater than or equal to 500 minus 0 is just 500. But now this is multiplication between that 4 and that x, so I need to do the opposite of that, which is to divide. So I'm left with x is greater than or equal to whatever 500 divided by 4 is. 4 goes into 5 one time. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down your 0. 4 goes into 10 2 times. And 4 times 2 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down that 0. And 4 goes into 25 times. So my answer is 125. So x is greater than or equal to 125 tickets. Example B says yellow taxi cab charges a $2 flat rate plus 75 cents per mile. Violet has $10 and wants to know if she has enough money to get to the airport, which is 12 miles away. Write an inequality to determine if she has enough money. So I need to take my highlighter. Okay, so yellow taxi cab charges a $2 flat rate, which is just really another fancy word for fee, plus 75 cents per mile. And she has $10. And so it wants to know if she has enough money to get to the airport, which is 12 miles away. So I need to see if I can make it in 12 miles. So the first thing I need to do is write my x here in my input, because that's always my variable. I need to find my total. My total is my biggest number, so it's $10. Then I want to find the word per or each, which is right there, and it's 75 cents. So I'm going to put 75 cents here. So I've used 10, I've used 75 cents, and my additional information is the $2 flat rate, or the $2 fee. all I'm left with is the inequality. Well, if I only have $10, I cannot spend more than $10. I can spend less than $10, but I cannot spend more. So I need a less than or equal to. I could spend all 10, but I can't spend any more than 10 if that's all that I have. So now what I have to do is I have to actually solve this. So I have 0.75 or 75 cents times x plus 2 is less than or equal to 10. Now, if you notice in your problem it says, which is 12 miles away, I want to know if I have enough to make it 12 miles. So what I can do in this instance is I can plug in that 12 into my x. So I have 0.75 times 12 plus 2 is less than or equal to 10. So all I have to do is multiply 12 and 0.75. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14, and 14 plus 1 is 15. I cross out what I've already done. I put a placeholder. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. So I have 0. 5 plus 5 is 10. 7, 8, and 9. So I have 9, and I put my decimal right there. I move it over 2 places. So I have 9 plus 2 is less than or equal to 10. Okay, well I know that 9 plus 2 is 11, so now I have to read my inequality. It says 11 is less than or equal to 10. Well, that's not true, so my answer to this question would be no, I don't have enough money. She's really close, but she doesn't have quite enough. Example C says Addison can spend up to $30 each month for her cell phone. The cell phone company charges $20 for a plan and 25 cents for each text message. How many text messages can Addison send without going over $30? Alright, so she can spend up to $30 a month. The cell phone company charges $20 for a plan and 25 cents for each text message. Okay, so then I underline my question. So how many text messages can Addison send without going over $30? So $30 is my total, which is right here. So I put $30 in my total. She cannot spend more than $30. I check that off because I've already used it. Then I find the word per or each, which is right here, and that goes with this 25 cents. So I'm going to put 25 cents there. I also know that my input is always my variable. So I've used 25 cents and 30, so the only thing that's left is 20, so that goes in my additional information. So if Addison has $30 to spend, she cannot go over that, so I need a less than symbol. But if she has $30, she can spend all 30 of it, so I can put an equal sign underneath it. So I have a less than or equal to problem. But now I need to answer the question, how many text messages can Addison send without going over $30? So what I have to do is I have to solve this inequality. So I have 0.25 x plus 20 is less than or equal to $30. So the very first thing I do is I subtract 20 on both sides. 20 minus 20 is 0, so those cancel each other out, and I bring down my 25 cents is less than or equal to 30 minus 20, which is 10. Well, between my 0.25 and my x is multiplication, so I do the opposite of that, which is to divide. So I divide by 0.25 on both sides. Left with x is less than or equal to 10 divided by 0.25. Well, if I think about it as money, 4 quarters equal $1. So if I have 10 of those, I need to multiply 10 and 4. Which gives me 4 times 0 is 0, and 4 times 1 is 4. So x is less than or equal to 40 text messages. She can send at least 40 text messages, no more than 40. So go ahead and make sure that you glue these notes into your notebook, and then go get started on your Got It page or your practice page. Raise your hand if you need any help, but always ask the person next to you before you ask me.